Hey loves, my name is Iphannie and this is the Iphanniebgentle podcast. Emotionally immature relationships can tear people down, causing them to view love through emotionally blurred lenses. Many of us are already in a relationship, but to be in a mature relationship is a whole new story. Here are some things I've learned while being in a 10-year relationship and 6-year marriage. Say nice things to your partner like, I'm proud of you, I love you, you're doing the best you can, thank you, and you're amazing. Words of affirmation will allow your partner to soften and often feel as though they are being seen for the effort that they're putting forth, not only in your relationship, but also within the world. So many of us get so used to running on go all of the time that we forget we also need to affirm our partner in the effort they make while performing acts of kindness for us. Ladies, that might be a hug and a kiss saying thank you to your spouse or paying closer attention to them at night when the kids are asleep. Gentlemen, that may be a nice little booty tap saying thanks babe, you're doing a great job, I appreciate everything that you're doing for us. There's nothing more exciting than doing something for your partner and they're not just saying like, oh, thanks for doing so-and-so, but they're actually showing you that they're grateful for the effort that you made. That also encourages your partner to continue to do things that they were doing and continue to put in the effort because they can see that you are appreciative of everything that they have done for you. Learn to ask and listen. Communicate stops when you start trying to read minds in a relationship. It won't work. I know people that have been in relationships for years and they feel like they can tell what their partner wants and how they feel, but that's not necessarily always the case. For me, for example, I can be sitting down with a straight face and my sweetheart would be like, what's wrong with you? And absolutely nothing would be wrong with me, but he would just assume by the look on my face that something was wrong and it needs to be corrected. But most times I just have a resting bitch face, honestly. So being able to communicate and me being able to say, hey, this is what's wrong with me, or him asking, is everything okay? And I'm telling him yes or no. And we go from there makes a world of a difference. Ladies, a lot of men don't feel like or don't believe that they can express their feelings because they don't want to burden us with what they're going through. Most men, especially in the Black community, are taught that they're the head of household and they're supposed to be strong all of the time. And they're not supposed to be weak. They're not supposed to cry. They're not supposed to feel pretty much anything. So it is our responsibility to allow our partner to feel safe enough to soften around us so that we're able to openly communicate about everything and anything under the sun. If you feel like something is wrong, ask him like, hey babe, is everything okay? What can I do that will help you feel more comfortable to communicate with me about your feelings? And when he says, well, I feel like this, or I feel like that, or I would like us to be able to do this more, or I don't like when you do this or you do that, do not listen to object to what they're saying, but listen to understand where they're coming from, because we want the same grace in return. There's an old wise tale or an old saying that goes, God gave us 2 ears and 1 mouth because he wants us to listen twice as much as we talk. And that's exactly why communication is so key. Communication doesn't just start by you opening your mouth and saying something. It also starts by you being able to listen to others. And that's exactly why being able to listen and comprehend what your partner says is also key to a successful relationship. Always make time for each other. If you're busy, send a short text message to inform him or her. It's really important. It's really important because communication along with spending time with one another kind of go hand in hand. Making time for one another is extremely important in a relationship, because if you have no time to spend with one another, how are you supposed to build an empire or an emotional bond with one another? Doing things like date nights aren't just for the dating phase, they're also for the marriage phase of a relationship. And most marriages succeed because they continue to date one another after getting married. Dating one another doesn't have to require you to spend a significant amount of money either. There are plenty of inexpensive ways to take your partner out on a date that are also fun and enjoyable for both of you. For example, if you're dating an athlete and they love to play basketball, you can make a date of you and your spouse going to the park, shooting the basketball, or playing a one-on-one game. And then you guys can later on sit on the bleachers and have lunch together that was prepared at home. Or if you don't have the luxury of having someone watch your kids while you go to the park, you can always do a lunch date at home. Set the kids up in a room with a nice movie and some snacks. That way, you have about an hour and a half to 2 hours for just you and your spouse to spend time with one another. That date can be done in the living room, in the dining room, in the backyard, or even in the bedroom. And it gives you time to just be open and honest and have an open and honest conversation with one another about how you guys are feeling about the relationship, if there's anything that needs to be improved, and so on and so forth. Embrace the good and try to fix the bad in the relationship. But remember that no one is perfect. Relationships go through things, and if you feel like you can get through it and move past it, please do so. But if you feel like you can't, leave peacefully and heal and move on. Speaking from experience, if there is something that you can praise about your relationship, make sure you do so. Oftentimes, when hurt happens in a relationship, it is easier to speak negative about your experience or your relationship than it is to speak positively, even if it's just for a short period of time. If too much hurt has occurred while being in the relationship and you both believe that the relationship is irreconcilable, the best thing to do, no matter how much pain has been caused, is to peacefully leave, heal, and move on. Holding on to that hurt won't make you happy. It won't replace the pain you feel. It won't stop the pain. It'll just spread it. And there's no need to be toxic. There's no need to sit there and bash the other person or put all of your business out on Front Street, because it doesn't benefit neither one of you. An unhappy love is when two people expect each other to solve the other's problems. A healthy love is when two people acknowledge and address their own problems and the other person supports them. Never expect your partner to fix your problems. The most successful relationships occur when two people who make themselves happy separately come together and choose to love one another. Don't depend on your partner to make you happy and vice versa, because happiness is truly a choice. The best thing ever is being in a relationship where you don't have to worry about anything. No cheating, no lying, and no secrets. When you don't have to worry about your partner embarrassing you or disrespecting you because they respect you enough to never hurt you, it's the best feeling in the world. So don't ever tolerate any forms of abuse in the name of love. Love does not equate to abuse, and abuse does not equate to love. If someone loves you, they won't abuse you, and it's just that simple. Remember that no two minds are molded the same. Don't try to change the person into what you think your ideal person is for your convenience. Let that person grow and love you their way. That's not to say that you can't explain to them what your preferred love languages are so that they can understand or better understand how to love you, but don't try to force them to do it or force it onto them, because it just won't work out. One thing that I have learned are surprises, gifts, forehead kisses, romance. They're all important in a relationship. I know it may be hard for some men to understand, but things like that matter to women. Some women crave physical touch, so small connections make the relationship more vibrant and appealing. When you love someone and someone loves you, you should never doubt your need to trust your partner and how your partner needs to trust you. And I know that is easier said than done, especially when there have been infidelity or simple lines have been crossed. But I assure you, if you want to continue to grow your relationship, there must be trust on both parts. And that doesn't mean to freely and willy-nilly give your trust to your partner when they haven't earned it. Of course, when they earn it, that's when they deserve it. But you have to trust each other, because if there's no trust, then there is no relationship. Remember, once you're in a relationship, you hold a person's heart in your hand. You need to always care for it and be careful not to break it. In this generation, breaking hearts seem to happen quite often. Some people even take pride in breaking people's hearts. So be careful who you choose to give your heart to, because everyone isn't worthy of your heart or your energy. You live your life on autopilot because you don't know what to do with your life or with your free time. So what's best is to find a hobby, something that you will enjoy doing. Maybe take a class that'll teach you some new life skills, or find a new group of friends that you can start exploring and trying new things with. You do not have to do everything with your partner, and I'm still learning to do that. I'm still learning this little piece. You don't have to do everything with your partner. It's good to have space and show interest in different things. Distance does make the heart grow fonder for most people, not for all, but for most people, it does make the heart grow fonder. Remember, you can have similar interests with your partner, but it is also good to find other things to do that give you an opportunity to have me time, because it is possible to crowd your partner and cause frustration between the two of you. Above all, be sure to not only make your partner feel heard, but seen. Nothing kills a relationship faster than being ignored. Take Chantel and Pedro, for example. If you watch The Family Chantel on TLC, I believe it's on TLC, you can see that the relationship will crumble if a partner feels neglected and you refuse to correct your wrongdoings. Of course, there were other reasons why they've arrived at the divorce doorstep, but when you let your partner feel as though they aren't seen in your relationship, it will cause them doubt and insecurity to creep into their minds, which will ultimately be the demise of your relationship. So what I've learned over the last 10 years especially is to be honest with myself about how the relationship is going, and just because he might say one thing and I might say something else, it does not mean that we have to butt heads about every single thing. We have learned to communicate and argue respectfully. We attack the problem instead of attack each other, and we make sure that above all, we put our friendship first, because that is the basis of our relationship, and it really should be the basis of all relationships is friendship, because if it's not, then lines can get crossed really easily. So that's all for this episode. Thank you guys so much for watching or listening. If you're watching me on YouTube, shout out to you guys. If you're listening to me here on any social media streaming platform, thank you so much. My name is Iphannie, and this is the Iphanniebgentle podcast, and I wish nothing but light, love, and a drama-free future, and I will see you guys in my next episode. Besitos.